WWE decided to end the year with a bang. People, as if we already weren't excited about Punk vs Rollins on Netflix, this segment gave us the closest thing to a pipe bomb I could think of. And I'm talking about both guys. We all know CM Punk is amazing on the microphone, but it was a bit of a reminder how great Seth Rollins can be too. I would say this promo battle ended in a draw. Goes to show you CM Punk always brings out the best out of his opponents. A promo on Monday Night Raw that gives you goosebumps is always nice to see. You know, a lot of these lines were like, is this scripted or not? I hope it is, because if it's not, we're gonna have a lot of problems. Mentioning Vince McMahon, mentioning AEW, mentioning Cole Cabana. That's the stuff you need, you know? This is a lot more effective, people, than WWE being TV14 and giving you a couple of bad words. People, this was probably the promo of the year. And it's the end of the year, people. It's also the last video of the year from yours truly. And I miserably failed to reach 500,000 subscribers, which, you know, obviously sucks. But we had a great year nonetheless. And, you know, I need to find that balance between what you guys like to watch and what appeals to a wider audience. People, I can't wait to talk about this promo, but let's just start from the beginning. Welcome to Greatness of Raw. The show kicks off with the New Day. As you guys expect, they can't talk. People keep chanting New Day sucks. Obviously, New Day looking fancy because they're bad guys. Bad people dress fancy, that's what wrestling told me. They got interrupted by Jey Uso. The New Day couldn't talk, and they asked Jey to tell the crowd to let them talk. They kinda did, not really. Jey Uso says, New Day sucks, and they left the ring. But Jey is not here for that. He's here for Drew McIntyre, Solo Sikoa, and he talks about how he's gonna take care of them. We see Solo Sikoa on the screen, and Solo talks about his frustrations over Jey Uso going back to Roman Reigns. This Ulafala isn't going anywhere. Next week, everybody will acknowledge Solo Sikoa. Drew McIntyre comes through the crowd, attacks Jey Uso out of nowhere, and you can tell something's different about Drew McIntyre. What I like about this new version of Drew McIntyre after CM Punk is that he's doing it with so much joy. He loves beating the shit out of his opponents, always with a smile on his face. You know, it's almost as if previously he had some doubts over his character because he slowly turned heel, right? Sometimes he did make sense. Now he's just a vicious son of a bitch. Love that. Truly love that for you, Drew. And we found out next week we are going to get Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre. So a pretty big show, man. This is literally going to be like a premium live event. I would expect it to be 3 hours long, and hopefully, like, this is one of the biggest episodes ever. We're going to have so many matches, so you better give those matches that goddamn time. What this Alpha Academy versus American Made storyline is telling me is that WWE are kind of going back to the basics, kind of restarting this American Made run. We got Otis versus Chad Gable. Chad Gable wants to take care of Otis, finally shut them up, you know, show them that the master is your master. We got the match, it was alright, and obviously Chad Gable won. I'm not necessarily excited about this rivalry. It's like we should do something different, something better for these guys, right? They should have already moved on like months ago, but at the same time, it's like WWE maybe realized, okay, they're losing way too much. We gotta get back to the basics, beat the shit out of Alpha Academy, and build them up again. Well, at least that's what I got out of it. R-Truth tried to make his way to the ring, got attacked by Pete Dunne because he can't stop calling him Big Butch. Leave it in 2024, please. We got 2 Women's Intercontinental Championship Tournament matches. Dakota Kai versus Zoe Stark was the first one, and this was pretty predictable in my opinion because obviously Dakota Kai is one of, you know, people's favorites to actually win the whole damn thing. Pretty okay match, and Dakota Kai wins. The second one was a bit more unpredictable. You see, we got Lyra Valkyria and Io Sky. Io is legitimately a main eventer, but my whole prediction is Lyra winning the whole thing. So this match was unpredictable. We have 2, you know, baby faces. I did expect somebody to interfere and cost Io Sky the match. Like I've said, I do think Lyra is going to win the whole damn thing. I mean, that's exactly what she needs. So far, she's been pretty strong, but didn't really do anything of importance. So she countered a roll and won the match. A pretty typical thing in pro wrestling. We know you win the match, but you also protect your opponent's credibility. Pretty good, you know. And my prediction is she's gonna win the whole damn thing. There are some problems in the Judgment Day. Not that the theme song. Come on. I'm getting used to WWE replacing every single rock song into rap music, hip hop, whatever. But people, this is where you cross the line. Come on, one of the best songs in the WWE, you know? Oh my god, this is trash. It's hard to beat that song in general, and this one doesn't even come close. So we got the 6-man tag team match, the War Raiders and Damian Priest versus the Judgment Day. The whole match, I was just thinking about how they ruined the theme song. Why would you do this? The match was alright, and of course the babyface team won. Nothing of importance really. Ludwig wanted to talk about his plans in the WWE, but got attacked by the returning Sheamus, who sent a message. Now we don't even know if Sheamus is actually going to stay in Monday Night Raw because we're going to get the transfer window or something like that. So I think they just brought him back, and this rivalry might be over. As for all we know. Let's get into it, people. Seth Rollins and CM Punk. So, Seth Rollins decided to kick things off with a bang. He talked about how CM Punk took the ball and left. Which is, by the way, something that Vince McMahon said about Stone Cold Steve Austin years back. So Punk got offended. Who fed you this corporate line? Would you say the same thing about Stone Cold Steve Austin? Who originally said that, trying to turn the people against the boys? I haven't seen the man around in a while. Did she take her ball and go home? You just gotta love these kind of promos. The entire promo is just basically breaking the fourth wall. Seth Rollins talked about how CM Punk left these people. He was sick and tired of this place, and Rollins stayed and ate it. CM Punk said he didn't hate the place, he hated the man he worked for. He seems to like you a lot. Obviously talking about Vince McMahon. One of the best lines was actually Seth Rollins talking about how CM Punk left and tried to ruin this company, went to his buddy's podcast. When that didn't work out, he went to the competition. How did that work out, Punk? Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. Talking about AEW. People, that is the main difference between WWE mentioning AEW and AEW mentioning WWE. This made sense. This promo kinda needed it. It wasn't just WWE taking shots in AEW for no reason whatsoever. Literally, one of the biggest things about CM Punk's professional wrestling career lately, in this past decade, whatever you want to call it, is CM Punk going to AEW, this big drama that, people are still talking about. So this made sense. This is kind of the whole point of this storyline. CM Punk being cancer to professional wrestling. Punk talked about how in this kind of situation, when CM Punk left, Rollins should have had Punk's back. Instead, he was shooting arrows into it. He leaves, Rollins shows his true colors by stabbing Roman Reigns in the back, now he's dressed like an idiot, and plays the victim in a situation he created. These arrows ain't gonna kill Punk. When I was gone, people chanted my name, mostly during your TV time. He'll come to Netflix with a fistful of arrows and jam them down Rollins' corporate throat. What a line, what a segment, but outside of all the, breaking the fourth wall moments, liners, what I also liked is the passion in Seth Rollins' eyes when he, ended the segment. Once upon a time, Punk was a pioneer. Now he is a cancer to the locker room. Cancer to my brain and this business. Cancer does not cure itself. The only way to defeat it is to cut it out. In 1 week time, you can bring your arrows. I will bring my eyes of fire and heart full of rage and hate and burn you to the ground. One of the best promos I've seen in a while. One of the best storylines we've seen in a while. Making it look real. That's when wrestling is at its best, when you can make it look as real as possible. And I'm not talking about matches, I'm talking about stories, I'm talking about things they said. Like a lot of things they talked about were not necessarily part of the storyline. It's actual frustrations they have with each other, whether for real or not. You gotta love that feeling in pro wrestling when you're watching a segment, watching a promo, and you're like, I wonder if they actually dislike each other. Because that was wild. Also, Seth Rollins was implying that Punk is shooting blanks. Can't confirm nor deny. And look, let's end this with a hot take. Even though I like the cinema stuff in the WWE, I'm mostly happy with the results we get, like that Roman Reigns and CM Punk segment, right? But every time I feel like, I wish they saved it for live television in front of a crowd. I always feel that way. Sometimes you just gotta get back to the basics. No matter how good cinema in pro wrestling is, you just can't beat good old-fashioned pro wrestling. People, thank you so much for watching this video. Happy New Year, everybody. Hopefully you're going to have a wonderful time. The Great One, peace, love, and hugs. See you next year.